Welcome to Level Up with CMJ. Hey, my name is Joe, and this is my dice shooting journey, my Craftsmaster dice shooting journey. Let's make it yours as well. So today we're going to continue on with the green belt level. Let's get the dice out. Guys, practice along daily and follow along with me. So let's go through our dice sets really quick. For our green belt level, we're going to go with the 3-2-3-6, which is the 3V set. 3-2-3-6. So we're just going to really quick go through these and get your fingers working, get blood flowing, get your brain working, and get your concentration going. So we got 9 sets of dice here. And big thing with doing this is so you can get comfortable setting the dice, so you can become proficient in setting the dice, and so that it doesn't take forever at the table, so that way it can help keep the rolls per hour going and keeps everybody at the table happy. So that's the 3V set, the 3-2-3-6 dice set. Our next dice set that we're going to do is our 2V dice set, which is our 21-24 set. So 2-1-2-4. So if you look at the dice, it's a 2-1-2-4. And remember, when the dice are passed towards you, kind of keep an eye open for those numbers so that we can get to them a little bit faster. Also, remember that the opposite sides of the dice add up to 7. So this weekend I went through and I did my practice. And today we're going to go through and we're going to do the smaller target. So we're going to go to the 4.5-inch target. And I also worked on my project this weekend. So hopefully next week sometime that new video will come out. Again, it's not craps related, but it's my craps channel related, if you will. And hopefully you guys will understand what I'm talking about when I see that. QT, how you doing? I get my dice at either Craps Nation or I get it at the casinoforyou.com. Both places have very good dice. If you're part of Craps Nation, I know that they were not ordering dice, but they are trying to get an order together right now. Most people are not able to order them though. So you have to go through a website or through a casino if you want. Not all casinos have used dice, but a lot of them do. And you can buy the used dice there. So hopefully that answers your question. Our last dice set that we're going to go through is the L7s, which is the 1265. So it's 1-2-6-5. And we had an all 7 set in our white through orange belt. This is a different all 7 set. And again, I have videos out on all the dice sets that I'm going through that talks about the specifics, how the 7s show, how many craps numbers show up, how many box numbers show up, what the percentages all are for all that stuff. So make sure you check those videos out. They're in the playlist. And hopefully they'll help educate you a little bit more on the dice sets. So that's our all 7 set. Okay, and let's move on. We're not going to do anything with the height tool today, but let's turn that laser level light on. And we'll adjust it here really quick. So it's right where I want to have it thrown. Let's do a couple throws with the barrel dice. Do about 5 or 6 of them just to get our throw warmed up a little bit. To keep the barrel dice square. Hopefully they land flat. They stay at the end of the table with minimal energy. So I am not compensated by casinoforyou.com. So that's free advertisement for them. Um, I bought basically all the stuff for the table for that. So all my chips, my table felt, the diamond bumpers, the stick that I'm using, the dice tray, everything is from them. So I was happy with their service. Their prices were reasonable. Um, their delivery was extremely fast. Customer service, I'm not really not sure about that. I had tried to contact them a couple times and see if I could be a sponsor for them, but no answer from them. So, but again, really happy with it. So I do the casino for you. I know that some people use the casino supply. I think it's casinosupply.com. I guess that is a very good site as well that you can get stuff at, all your crap stuff. I know that a lot of the people are buying their table layouts there. I think that's where John from Pro Craps goes through. So if you've seen his table layout that he just recently got, it's really neat. So, okay, let's go over to the regular dice. Again, all we're doing right now is working on throwing the dice down the table. Let's go to our hardware set. We're trying to throw it down to the table in a straight line. And we're trying to get it down there so it lands with minimal energy. And they land square. Those did not land square. They landed on the right corner. Both of them went off to the left side. So that means I'm not rotating my hand properly. And this is what our warm-ups are all about. So we can identify little problems, little situations like that. So let's see if we can make that adjustment. That was better, much better. Dice stayed together. They still went to the left a little bit, but not as drastically as the time before. So again, the 5-4-5-4 hardware set. This is our way of practicing. If you go to all the videos that I shot the dice sets, that was a really good throw. If you go to the videos in my dice set videos, I will show you in each video how to get into the particular dice set from this base set, from the hardware set. So that is a little trick that I had learned from actually Brian at Hawaii Crap Shooters. He had done a video probably about a year or so ago, maybe almost 2 years ago now, where he talked about how to get into different dice sets from his hardware set. So kind of neat. Go one more. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move on into the green belt level stuff. I'm going to try to add a little bit of variety. It was a very low toss, but the energy was very minimal. I'm going to try to add variety into each of the sessions now. So we're not going to be doing the same things over and over and over. We are going to be practicing some of this white belt, yellow belt, and orange belt stuff every time that we go through it. But we're going to be focusing on different things. Today, when you're doing your throws, make sure that you are focusing on your breathing. Make sure that you're focusing on that dice grip. The dice are really tight together. They're square. You have a good location. Your hand is not tight to the table. That it's just gently resting or just slightly off. Focus on that forward swing. Focus on your stance, so your stance is up. And then the other thing that I'm doing right now is, and you can see this in the video here a little bit here, guys, is my arm. I was going so the arm was on the chip rail. I am switched it around a little bit, so I have it braced on the inside the table. Let me go down here and see if you guys can see that. So I have it braced on the inside the table, and I'm holding myself in tight that way. So something to consider, a different way of throwing. I know I had done this in the past and it helped me a lot. Now it's straight down the table, hit the line perfect. So, okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out our targets. Actually, let's do the George distance drill first. So the George distance drill is working on getting your energy down to a minimal level in the dice. And he starts off really far, close to the other end. Good morning, Mike. He starts off close to the wall, so you're about 10 inches away from the wall. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna get into your dice grip, and you're just gonna gently toss it into the wall and try to get it so that they don't land. And this is very difficult from this distance because you got to really put a feather touch onto it. But you're just getting it so they barely touch the back wall, and you're getting very minimal action out of the dice. And the theory is that we can practice this at a short distance and then get slightly longer or further away after about 3 to 10 throws. And in theory, what will happen is you will be able to adjust your energy level in the dice. You will be able to make the needed adjustments that you have to make in order to get them to land right by the bottom here and keep them down at the bottom after they bounce off a low portion of the wall. So we're in stick right 2 position right now. And again, like I said, we're going to do 3 to 10 per position. And we'll go to stick right 1. And now I'm approximately about 3 feet away from that back wall. And that was a really nice landing, nice bounce. Dice stayed up almost tight to the table. And I have the laser level going right now, so you can kind of go down the straight line as well. Not quite as important with this drill. This drill is more about getting the dice just to land right by the end. And then after you get your 3 to 10, we're going to be moving to stick left 1. So let's do one more stick right 1. And obviously, if you're throwing from the right side of the table, you would start at the left side and work your way to the right. So we'll do a couple here from stick left 1. And so that way they land right. This one actually landed right up, and it's actually leaning up on the wall, so that's good. Landed right in line. The other one landed about 1.5 inches away from the end of the table. Now, to adjust the energy levels, things you can do. You can adjust the height of your dice, and that's why we had our height tool that we're using. And if you get it at that optimal apex or the optimal height, that's going to help minimize that dice. Another thing you could do is you can adjust the speed of your throw. If you throw too hard, too fast, the dice are going to have that energy stored up in it. So if you keep a light grip and you slow your throw down, they're going to get down just to the end of the table. Now, this one stuck to the table, did not hit the back wall. The other one just touched and landed right up against the wall. So that was nice landing. And let's do one more here. And that one, the right one bounced a little bit harder than the left, and they crisscrossed. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our 6-inch target, and we're just going to do a couple throws just to warm up our landing zone area. I have the target set up so it's about 1.5 inches away from the wall, and it's centered on that laser light. So we're going to do about 5 or so throws with the 6-inch target, and then once we get it done, we feel comfortable with it for the day, we're going to go and we're going to actually go to the 4.5-inch target, and that's the target that we're going to be primarily focusing on this week. So again, focus on your grip, focus on how light you're touching, holding the dice, how light your fingers are to the table. You're going with a forward motion with your throw. Focus on your stance, your breathing, a lot of things to think about. And remember, we're doing all this, and I was a little bit to the right, but we're doing all this to make it a constant. So we're trying to minimize or eliminate those variables as much as possible. And that's where the practice comes in. The more you practice, hopefully the more consistent or the more constant you will become with your dice throwing. And that one landed just right before the target. So that was about 6.5, 7 inches away from the wall. Now, I had a question by one of the viewers this week about the ultimate or the best landing zone at the end of the table, if you will. And the question was, is there a place on the wall? That was a really good throw. It landed on a target, bounced up on the wall, came back on a target. The one did take off a little bit. But the question was, is there an optimal place up on the wall that we actually want the dice to land or to hit? And the answer to the question, guys, is there is no real optimal place as long as the dice hit and hit in an upward motion. Once they come off the wall, they're going to come back in reverse direction on the dice will. So that will hopefully that energy we just are taken away even more. But the answer is you want to find a location on the table so that when you throw the dice with low energy, they bounce, hit the wall, and they keep that zero energy or the low energy, and they land as close to the wall as possible. That's how you determine your landing zone. You do not want the dice to bounce up super high. You don't want to bounce in hard into the alligator bumps. You want to try to get it so they bounce hopefully lower on the alligator bumps, but with minimal or zero energy in the dice. So let's practice this a little bit here. Hitting that target. A little bit long. Landed almost at the bottom of the wall. So they did stay on axis, so there was a 5-4-9. And again, we're using a 5-4-5-4 hardware set, so we had a single pitch of one of the dice, I believe the left one. So we're going to do this like it's about 5-6 times or so. And then once we get that done, we're going to switch over to that 4.5-inch target. I did some practicing this morning before I started filming. That was a good throw. And was feeling pretty confident, pretty comfortable. Even with the 4-inch target, I was hitting it probably 2/3 of the time I was hitting my target area. Another thing you want to focus on, let's switch over to the other target now. Another thing you want to focus on, guys, and when you put the target down, just put it on top of the 6-inch and pull the 6-inch out. So that way it's still at about 1.5 inches away from the back wall and it's centered on that laser level. Another thing you want to focus on today is making sure that you release with that thumb. So that thumb lets go and does not push the dice through. So that way we can keep them together, they don't split. Okay, comfortable dice set. Base or my feeder's proper. I'm looking down to the table. And that one went to the right a little bit and one went a little bit long. But they both ended up within 2 inches from the table. and they had some action, but very minimal action. And that is sometimes something that's almost impossible to eliminate. Sometimes is that action after the wall. Depends on where they hit the bumps. But that is why that one went to the right a little bit. But that is why we are practicing, so we can try to perfect everything up to that point. So once they hit the back wall, obviously the random, we can't control that part, but we can control everything up to. And if we can control the energy in the dice, that was a really good throw. One of them landed straight on the circle after it came down. It's right here. Um, I forgot where I was at. So anyhow, um, hopefully that answers the question regarding the ultimate target zone or target landing zone. Also, I had mentioned that towards the end of the green belt level here, and once we can actually target or zone in and try to get on target with the smaller targets on a regular basis, we're going to be going with a 9-zone thing. If you watch my green belt video, you'll see what it is. I have a little layout that has 2-inch squares, and they're numbered 1 to 9. And the theory is we're going to start off with number 1, which is our target landing zone right now. And once you get zeroed in on that, you're going to go through and you're going to do 1 to 2 throws and try hit the different numbers and see if there's a better sweet spot or landing zone in that 9-zone layout. Are you going to hit it exactly? Probably not. But we could try to get them as close as we can. And that'll give you a little bit of an opportunity to try different spots on the table, at the end of the table, to see if there's a better spot than what you are currently throwing at. And it's important because every day that you throw, you're going to be throwing slightly different. Even though we're practicing every day, we're throwing every day like this. Your throws are going to be a little bit different every single day. Also, when you go to different casinos, the different tables are going to play differently. Some will be a little more bouncier, some will be harder, and you're going to have to adjust the landing zone accordingly with that also. So you would start with your normal landing zone and make adjustments based off of that 9 square layout that we have. So starting to zero in now on that 4.5-inch target, and that's a pretty big, small area to try to hit every single time. Try to be consistent at. We're throwing from about 9 feet away into an area that's only 4.5 inches in diameter. And once we get that down consistently and we move on, that was a good throw. That was a 5-5 hard 10. Once we get that down consistently, we're going to be moving to a 3.5-inch target, which will be even harder. But this is where practice comes in. Again, the more we do it, the more consistent we can make things, the better it becomes. 314, Big Joe from Craftsmaster Journey. The other announcement I wanted to make today is that I accepted, I was requested or asked by George from CY if I would enter his international dice shooting competition. And I accepted. So I'm going to be part of that competition. And I'm going to be going through the qualifying round on February 4th of 2023 at 2 p.m. Central Time. I'm actually going to go through with Dave Carlin from Same Bet, and he's going to be my judge, and I will be doing my throws. The qualifying round is you go 3 shooters worth, and they take the best of your 3 shooters. And then the top 32 people will move on to the next round. So who knows? Even some of the best shooters in the world have short rolls. Some of the worst shooters have the longest rolls. So I'm excited about it. I will take whatever comes. Hopefully I do well. I will say this right now, should I win the competition, and I will keep in mind that there's a lot of very good shooters out there and a lot of very talented people that'll be entering this competition. But should I happen to win, I will be donating all the money to the Craps for Cure uh, telethon that John puts out. So when he has it next year, I will be donating that money, if I should win, to John's charity of choice that we come up with for the next year. Um, and I know he has it narrowed down to like 2 or 3 of them right at this particular moment. So do a couple more here, guys, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll go through the homework thing then. Um, make sure you guys spread the word. I want to get these live streams a little bit more popular. I want to make sure that people are. Oh, that was terrible. That was short and to the left. I want to make sure that people are practicing daily and they're becoming part of this journey. Um, Again, I am retraining myself in throwing here. So this is definitely a journey for me. Um, and my goal is to help teach others some of the simple skills that you can learn to become a better dice thrower, but also to train myself to become a better dice thrower. And as we go through the belt levels, it's going to get progressively harder. As we go through the belt levels, we're going to be working on different things. A little bit short, but it was in line. And for example, the blue belt level, which will be coming up after the green belt here, blue belt level, we're actually going to start tracking our rolls in Bone Tracker, and we're going to actually start doing the throws on a consistent basis, meaning that our goal during the blue belt level is to do at least 5,000 throws. That was terrible because I'm talking here, guys. But to do 5,000 throws, so that way we can get a base on what to judge our throwing results at. Um, and that way we can start analyzing what's going on and start making some changes and start looking at different things that we could do to become more consistent. And that one rolled because I went too far. I went off the edge of the target. And these are little things that you need to look for when you are actually throwing the dice here. So I'll go one more here, guys. And that was a good one to end up with. The dice did roll off, but they both landed on the target, came back, hit the target, but then they did roll a little bit. 2, 2, 4. Hard 4, so they stayed on axis. But let's go to our homework corner here for the day. And what we're going to do is make sure, obviously, that you start with your warm-ups and your stretches. And you can find those in the white belt level. And then go through your dice settings. So we're going to go through that 3V dice set, 3, 2, 3, 6. Your 2V dice set, which is your 2, 1, 2, 4 dice set. And then the all sevens, which is the 12, 65 dice set. And, set it 5 to 10 times each dice set and get your fingers working there. And then we're going to bring out the laser level and start with the barrel dice. Just get a nice straight even toss down the table. Try to throw it square so they land flat on the table. Do about 5 or so of those. Bring out our regular dice. You're going to go with the base set, your 5-4, 5-4 hardware set. And that again is with the laser level. Once you're done with that, you're going to go to George distance drill. 3 to 10 throws from each position, starting at stick right 3, go to stick right 2, stick right 1, and stick left 1. And then we're going to go to our landing zone training, which is our 6-inch target for about 5-10 throws or until you start feeling comfortable, you get consistent. Then we're going to move over to that 4.5-inch target. And our goal with the 4.5-inch target is to throw it so that you are doing at least 20 to 50 throws. And that's per session, and that's minimal. If you want to do more, by all means, do more. When you're doing this though, now concentrate on your stance, concentrate on your grip, concentrate on making sure that they're releasing square, that you're releasing with that thumb. You're breathing, all those little things that we've talked about in the past. Make sure you start focusing on that with each and every throw. And if something does happen, go back and think about what did you do differently if there was a different result than what you're hoping for. But anyhow, hey guys, this is the first episode for Greenbelt for this week. We have 3 more coming up, and we're going to do Greenbelt next week as well. But anyhow, have a great day, guys. My name is Joe, and this is my Craps Master Dice Shooting Journey. Let's make it yours too.